Hi, I'm back with another vlog. Today I am vlogging on former club kid Amanda Lepore. Wikipedia writes of Amanda Lepore's early life, quote, born Armand Lepore, November 21st, 1967, grew up in Essex County, New Jersey. Her father was a chemical engineer and her mother had schizophrenia and spent much time in mental institutions. She has one sibling, an elder brother. In her early teens, Lepore began making costumes for a transgender friend in exchange for female hormones. She was already isolated from her peers at this time, and her parents withdrew her from public school and hired a private tutor. They took her to a psychologist who helped her obtain a prescription to begin hormone therapy to prepare for her transition into a woman. The New York Times reported in July of 2017, quote, as Miss Lepore recounts her memoirs, a guidance counselor at her high school spotted breasts growing underneath Lepore's shirt and gave her an ultimatum. I could get a tutor or quit, Lepore said. She changed her name to Amanda, chose a tutor, and got her high school equivalency diploma soon after that. At the age of 17, and through a legal loophole, Lepore married a male bookstore owner. She was granted permission for sex reassignment surgery, which she had at the age of 19 in Yonkers, New York. The New York Times wrote, quote, her first paramour was a businessman she hitched a ride from one day after high school. Lepore was 18 when she had her first long-term relationship with a man identified in the memoir as Michael, who said she beat her up when he found out her biological secret. It was Michael's father, who was perhaps more progressive, that intervened on her behalf, explaining that Lepore was not a man but a woman whose body was out of sync with her mind. As Lepore tells it, the father paid for her sex reassignment surgery. In issue 16 of Project X magazine, James St. James wrote an article called A Starlet's 5 Years of Hell about Lepore's life before New York and her first marriage, writing, quote, he asserted his influence over her, refusing to let her leave the house alone. She was a prisoner in her own home. The New York Times wrote, quote, one night in 1988 or 1989, Miss Lepore packed a single suitcase and decamped to New York City. She found work as a dominatrix at Belle de Jour, an S&M club on the East Side, before landing at the makeup counter at Patricia Fields, the avant-garde boutique in downtown Manhattan, known for its transgender and unconventional staff. While Miss Lepore was making her foray into the city's clubs, a fortuitous night arrived in 1993 when she attended the opening party for Disco 2000. A Wednesday party at the Limelight, she was spotted from across the dance floor by the party's promoter Michael Alec. Alec hired her on the spot to become a club regular and help spice up the party. In 1998, Bill ran into artist David LaChapelle at Bowery Bar, and spending all night talking, he invited her to model for him the following day. The photographer-muse relationship blossomed as her devotion to perpetual self-reinvention through plastic surgery intensified. Miss Lepore has undergone cosmetic alterations to nearly every part of her body that can be altered. She has had her derriere injected with silicone, her nose made smaller, her forehead lifted and hairline lowered. Her cheeks are regularly pumped with fillers, and her breasts have been enhanced 3 times. To accentuate her hourglass figure, Lepore even had her bottom ribs broken and pushed in as a way of making her waistline appear smaller and her hips broader. For that procedure, Lepore traveled to Mexico, since few doctors will even perform the operation in the United States. Wikipedia wrote, quote, Lepore has appeared in fashion magazines including French Playboy, and she is on the cover of Lord of Acid's 1999 album Expand Your Heart. Lepore had a cameo in the documentary Party Monster: The Shockumentary, and in 1998 the feature film Party Monster. She can be seen briefly in the fashion spoof comedy Zoolander. She was featured in the documentary Dig, and in another gay sequel in 2008. Lepore has had cameos in music videos for artists including Elton John, Thalia, the Dandy Warhols, Sharon Needles, and Caswell. Lepore was part of the True Colors Tour in 2007, a 15-city North American benefit tour sponsored by the Logo Channel, hosted by comedian Margaret Cho, and headlined by Cyndi Lauper. The tour benefited the Human Rights Campaign, PFLAG, and the Matthew Shepard Foundation. In 2009, Lepore performed at the Majestic Theater during the Metro Pride Fest in Detroit, with the Divas of the Majestic, a Divine Lights production. In June 2011, she debuted her album I, Amanda Lepore at the Highline Ballroom with Caswell, Pat DeLuna, Neon Hitch, Animatronic, and many others. On April 18, 2017, Lepore launched her autobiographical book, Doll Parts. It was co-written with Thomas Flannery, Jr. and published through Regan Arts. Among the text, the book features lots of pictures of Amanda taken by different photographers such as David LaChapelle, Joseph Jasso, and Rob LeBeau. On episode 414 of The Pew with Michael Alec and Ernie Glam, they discussed the controversy over Lepore's book Doll Parts, citing that the LGBTQ activists who feel that Amanda's appearance as the male ideal or a sex symbol is a poor role model for the trans community of today. The New York Times wrote, quote, Dennis Norris, a trans activist who served on the board of Marriage Equality USA and founded the Association for Transgender Professionals, said, quote, the only way we can judge Amanda is through the eyes of 1987. Doing that, she becomes a bookmark to how much we've changed in the past 30 years. You can follow Amanda Lepore on social media or check her out at her website at amandalepore.net. So that's all I have for you today. I will post the link to the blog posting below if you're interested. I want to thank you guys for commenting and liking like always. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you can do so by clicking the kitty, and I will see you again in my next video.